All right, we're live. It is another episode of Weekly Mojo, and we're the last 2 weeks we've been late. This week we're early because
we couldn't wait. I was so excited to talk about this bad bitch.
Oh, you didn't want to make a period joke, about being late and then coming early, and
the fact that I'm on my period and it came earlier than I guess I was expecting, but
I don't know.
Either way, we're here, and we showed the fuck up, and I think that's all that matters.
Yeah, I think that's all that matters. I just thought opportunity arises. Whatever. It's your host, Madison Jessica. We're back here yet again.
With my partner, El Prof.
Or
Dr. Business.
Yeah. Nope, hours. It's Dr. Business always on camera. We talk about this every time.
Yeah, I know, but El Prof just kind of flows better, and you do come off more El Prof in this profile, but you can be Dr. Business if you want to. You be whoever you want to be.
Sure. I'm saying I'm more natural to be that on camera. Everyone's going to see that now, though.
Sure. I mean, the two people.
Coffee is not. Well, yeah, nobody's watching. I was like, I had the worst intro of all time today. So.
We're just getting better from here. Not content wise.
Or content wise. I mean, come on.
Not confidence.
Where else are you gonna get this? I don't know. I feel like we're confident. We're out here. We sound good. We're having fun.
Doing the fucking thing.
It sounds stupid, but it sounds coherent.
Who are we talking about today?
I don't know. You tell me. She's got many names because nobody can get it right, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, man. I can't wait to get into this shit. My dear here is the unthinkable Margaret Brown. But some and most may know her from her name, the unthinkable Molly Brown. Her name is Margaret Brown, but
we'll
also
save the rest for the story.
There's so many different names that we get associated with over time. I can't wait to dive into her story here.
Yeah, and some people can probably guess what it might be about from the artwork, but we'll save that for later.
Those that have eyes
because we can talk about, the fact that there's a whole conspiracy related to it and how it relates to some things that are going on right now.
Wow, I was talking about conspiracies. That's crazy.
Right? I forgot somebody who said this out, but the scorecard right now is Conspiracy Theorists 100. People who don't believe conspiracies 0. I mean, the last 5-7 years have been bad for people who have been on the not conspiracy side of the equation.
I just think of the Candace Owens talking about
no. Let's leave
all of the above, and our bestie Molly associating me with that video and being like, "This is you and everything," and I was like, "But you're not wrong. It's really hard when you're just like." Oh yeah, when you're thinking about drugs, and then it just tails into, oh my gosh, let's think about how many times things have been uncovered in history and declassified. Crazy.
For anyone who wants to compare us to Candace Owens, go to our last episode and see how we handled it. I think we might have danced on the line a little bit more gracefully than her, and we'll leave it there. But
I hope so. Listen, leave me your notes. I love feedback. I can't say that it's all justified, but your opinion is your choice.
Absolutely. And that's why we have a lot to talk about today. And anyways, our artwork here is a great backdrop for that conversation.
I fucking can't wait to get into it.
Right. Before we do, we're going to go very surface value and say that this woman is from Hannibal, Missouri.
Oh, this is the connection. How did I find this bad bitch? Well, I was inspired by my favorite murder.
Sure.
And Hannibal, Missouri is her birthplace, which I was like, that's so fucking cool after moving here. I feel like it's weird when you move to places. It just seems like the that geography or that region comes up so much more in your it's listening bias, right? Because you're more familiar with the area. But now I'm like, holy fuck, she's from Missouri. I just moved here.
It's a bathroom stop on our road trip back to Michigan.
You're absolutely right. That's that 3.5-hour journey where you're probably locking in because I drove.
Maybe
we
didn't have enough gas.
Yeah,
it depends what direction we're coming from.
And if you're under a fourth a tank in the middle of the Midwest, just fucking fill up because you never know. You never know.
Absolutely. And so the fact that this week we're talking about Missouri. Makes recommendation corner so much easier because we have some local recommendations.
Hell yeah.
Maybe not to Hannibal, but to Kansas City.
True. I
which
can't wait to
is
stop
Missouri and not Kansas, for those out there who don't know. There is a Kansas City, Kansas, and it's cool in its own right, but Kansas City is Kansas City, Missouri.
Yep. Our two major cities couldn't be further from each other in geography.
Oh, you mean St. Louis?
Yeah, the and other one. Also like people, it feels like where it's like very Mid-East versus Midwest. I fucking love Kansas City. I've never been to St. Louis. Well, I've been to St. Louis. I went to a Cardinals game.
I'll give them.
There's a hot boy there.
They've got like toasted wraps.
They did gift us that, but also that was just like, did they though? Or are they claiming it? No, I'll give it to them.
There's no need to pick more of a fight. They do live downriver from Chicago already. That's punishment.
You got an arch, and we always get confused with having the arch. And I was like, no, we just have the winning teams.
Yeah, the gateway to the west. Anyway.
West. Oh fuck! Now
right?
I got how from this.
You called them Mid-East, but they're known as being the gateway to the west.
So I think it's gotta be again. West. I think we go Patrick Star on this one, and I think it is West. It's West and West. You've got Midwest and you got Midwest. Oh, that's so good! Your eye twitched. It confirmed.
Maybe.
I'm here for it. You let me know in the comments. Midwest versus Mid-East. Midwest. Fuck, that's good.
I love Mid-East. I'm from the Mid-East, but Midwest is really great, so I like it here more.
There's a lot of gems to everything. I hate to pick
except for the homes. Another. The homes are better in the Mid-East, although they have them here, just less consistently.
They're also just so much cheaper here.
Yeah, there's that.
So I'm like, I'll 10 of 10 always take this. Plus, there's fucking seasoning here. God bless the Heartland.
Okay.
What are you looking into?
Well, if I'm going to throw a little bit more shade at St. Louis, because that's what I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure I didn't make a complete fool of myself. So I Googled it first. Oh, yeah, for hockey. Okay. Yeah, I'm a Red Wings fan, big time. And, St. Louis.
I have Minnesota, but, I only get a few years of that. So.
I'm a terrible sports fan across the board. The best sports team that I support is Michigan football, and I watch, at least, 30% of the games,
If you're looking to book for this last minute, let us know.
Yeah, or just go on Airbnb.
Come in opening weekend, yeah. Anyway, excited for us to get into this bad bitch.
Right. Well, our
recommendations though is KC in Missouri.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even get my opportunity to shit on St. Louis, but it's okay.
Do you want to?
I'm gonna reiterate that Chicago. Well, yeah, we're in Kansas City. I'm from Detroit.
We have hard stances everywhere. We should have a hot take, even though it's been a decade and a half since I've been to St. Louis. What's your hot take?
Oh well, it's just I love the Wings. Fuck the Blues. You guys live downriver of Chicago. That sucks. Classic stuff.
Sucks for you.
You have to go into another state to buy weed. No, you don't, because we live here.
I'm better than you in these arbitrary things that we have literally no control over whatsoever. LOL. Yeah. I recognize my bias.
I'm pretty sure that's a baseball divide. It's also why Detroit and Cleveland hate each other. I know this is a Chicago and a St. Louis rivalry, so it feels weird to insert myself because I hate Chicago too. I like Chicago. I'm from the Midwest. Fuck the coast. But, at the same time,
right.
Fuck Chicago.
Midwest, the Midwest map where it's I'm insert it here, where it's literally just anything that's not coast is considered Midwest.
Right.
Everything is fuck the coast.
Right. And that's where your Midwest, Mid-East divide is very, very real. And I think Kansas City and St. Louis really are the
dividing line. It's
the epitome.
We could not be further away from each other in this state. It is the dividing line is the expansive Missouri middle. It's fucking nuts. Anyway, I love KC. I was
also
hanging out.
Technically, St. Louis is actually economically stronger than Detroit. I don't think it had a bankruptcy, so
I'd buy that.
Other reason to throw shade back with.
Although I hear they have some of the worst driving conditions as far as construction and people. So I don't know. I should continue to go. St. Louis. I heard St. Louis is worse than Detroit, if you can fucking
Oh,
believe
thank
it.
God. There's somewhere?
I don't know if that's true, but like, we'll see.
I mean, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I hate wasting hours in that traffic during the summer. It's like there's endless cones and there's nobody working for months.
It's just like I've never had.
The roads are always broken.
No, but I've never been used to the this could be a 3.5-hour drive or a 7-hour drive, depending on how little or how many
whether
people
it's one lane
are
or two
driving
lane
up north. Yeah, essentially that's
one or two lane, and whether or not people are going.
And yeah, I was like, not Mideast, not for me. And I think that was the distinction, because never really have not.
You never sat in traffic to a rural destination the entire way from the metropolitan area. You've never done that? You've never made what would normally be a 3.5-hour drive 6 hours by sitting with all of your neighbors in traffic all the way up to the nature spot.
I made a 6-hour drive into a 12-hour drive from Midwest rural to Midwest rural, but that was because we had a car accident in between that no one, thank God, got hurt horribly in, but we did have to hang out at the hospital for a minute, and we were in literally the middle of fucking Missouri nowhere. And thank you, Schmorgan's parents, for coming down to save us. I know they definitely don't want to be associated with this. So all in all, happy everybody worked out. It was a blast and a half, literally, like, great time. What an interesting 12 hours and fucking weekend. I lost my birth control that weekend. I lost my bag. Some fucking people just like straight up saw our alcohol, were like, hey, you shouldn't have that in there in case the police come. And we're like, oh, that's kind of a brilliant, smart idea. I mean, not like anyone was drinking and driving. It was like snow. Anyway, getting really off topic. 2 seconds.
Yeah, classic.
Fuck, I like drew my book bag.
So
I know,
it's barely on topic.
This is outlaw country. This is Midwest as fuck. Man, it's rural. Everyone fend for themselves. They took our alcohol. I threw my backpack in there. I lost my beautiful, like, high suede boots that were tan, and I never get them back because they were like $40 through H&M. Anyway, really sad things. I ended up getting an IUD after that. Thank God. God bless. 7.5 years later, it's out of me. Woohoo! It's crazy how life fucking flies.
So much information.
No shit! Oh my God! Welcome, Maddie.
Live on air, apparently.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Casey's been cool as fuck though. I've been very excited about getting to explore more of it.
Mm-hmm.
We ran into a really cool bookstore down with one of my besties, Lexi, who brought us here and got us our house here indirectly.
Yeah, because she knew our real estate agent.
Right.
I guess a recommendation, yeah. Well, I don't know the name of her real estate agent or agency, but...
Molly Nemechik Real Estate will get you there.
Yeah, just Google it. She's got good SEO presence. Or, Ground Green Yoga. She's got a yoga brand.
Ground Green. She's a baddie of multitudes, and they just
classic entrepreneur and now mother.
Yeah, it's so exciting. So
congratulations.
We gotta touch base with her and Tanner, because that new baby life, I'm sure, is very different from no babies, but couldn't be more excited for her.
For both of them. Yeah.
Totally. Holy shit. Scary.
One day soon.
Yeah. Oh man, that's gonna be an interesting topic of conversation when we get there. If we get there.
So, recommendation for a real estate agent / yoga studio. I'm gonna give him one more recommendation for Mooney, which is our favorite Mexican Thai fusion restaurant in the River Market area. You can't go wrong with anything on the menu, but I'm gonna really go out there and recommend the carne asada koi soy. Like ramen,
curry ramen.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, that the
just
rangoons. Like, there's so many options. Just enjoy and get the fucking churros.
Mm-hmm. Or the crab rangoons. Yeah.
There's could not talk more. I mean, like, take the little metro, go from Mooney and one of my favorite thrift stores in the River Market. Go hit up
Try the Suffering Bastard.
That's a
whether you drink or not. No, they have an alcoholic version.
Oh, yeah?
It's really good. If you
I
want the
didn't know that.
non-alcoholic version, they have it up for you also.
Cool.
So that's the great part about it.
I'm not sure how far off of the metro this is, but Turnsole Book and Coffee is where Lex and I were like basically
is that
wandering
up near Westport?
around. It's basically like right off of downtown, right near the Symphony area. So it's like really cool, and there's a little Mexican restaurant with the El Papel Picados all like hanging outside. That's the only like it's literally right out the way.
The what?
Fuck you! I'm not gonna do it again.
The El what?
I
don't know. I just didn't know. Like I don't know what
really?
you're saying. Yeah, I don't know what you're saying.
Okay. I'm only saying that I know this because this is Spanish one.
Okay, so what are you saying?
Oh fuck! I don't want. This is Mrs. Swigard, who's some white bitch in the middle of rural Norfolk. So I'm gonna try my best on this second try.
I mean, my Spanish is remedial, also.
I know,
but it's my family.
It's basically little. It's the decorative papers that they use to decorate a lot of like either streets. El Papel Picado is how I was taught it and how I remember it a decade later. So like
Papel Picado.
Yeah.
Mexican
and L
garland.
would be the masculine version of that. So that's like the most formal I could have said it any fucking way. Now I'm severely called out in my gringaism. This is a dope ass little bookstore. I loved her. The woman in there was brand new, but she was playing with like there's a cat that's just roaming through. There's that Lansing. Oh, okay. So I like picked up this like gorgeous Lansing poem like booklet or whatever because I thought it was Lansing,
Kansas.
Michigan. It's Lansing, Kansas. But either way, it was gorgeous and well written, and there was like a lot of really cool cards.
It was written by all the inmates.
I love that. I thought that was.
Did you read any of them?
Yeah, the first one was so much better, and then they just kind of got like a little bit less coherent from there. But there was some.
There's the reason they put the best one on the cover.
Yeah, there's.
It's like when they do that with movies. You know, they put the best
trailer
in the trailer, and then you go see the movie, and you never saw anything better than those 90 seconds the entire time.
To be honest, that's anything past 2012. I feel like at this point, if it's not like.
Well, I mean, when's the last time I've seen a movie that's been gone to theaters? Like everything.
What's been funny lately?
Well, everything just comes out direct to streaming. That's funny. So
yeah, it was like.
I mean, I can't.
Good, but it wasn't funny. Deadpool, I guess I would classify Deadpool. I haven't seen the latest though.
Yeah, neither have I. I'd love to eventually, when it probably goes to streaming, because. You know, who wants to go fucking pay money to go to the theater unless it's like real? Like you got to see a movie that's worth seeing. A movie like the Titanic.
Fuck. Oh my god! Actually, that's so funny. I was low-key. I am just story time today. This is my first like girls' party with like the group that I grew up with. It was two. This is how. Tell me you know your age when you know that it was a 2-set VHS tape, and we were very excited to watch it. I think the sex scene is on the second one, which is like the quick switch or like the like you know where she's drawn and then all of a sudden it's the hand. I say all of this because it was in my mom's bedroom, the only one that had the VHS. You went for her, not me. That's cute.
Well, I mean, you know, consensual, live on air.
She can't consent. Did you ask her?
Yeah, well, I figured plastic, you know, couldn't consent.
That is why Elon Musk is dating one. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that full circle in that. The color quality on my mom's like box television as we were trying to watch this was just garbage at this point. So my friend Megan's, who's like, oh my god, the dresses, everything, like it's all beautiful. It was like essentially sepia tones as we were watching it. So I was like, yeah, this is it. It's better, I guess, if you're watching it on. You can watch it on TV and get the full entirety of it.
The first time I ever saw it was on TV in middle school at some random point.
Does it show all of it? Because like Step Brothers does not. I was very not aware.
Yeah, it's like Step Brothers. One, didn't know Step Brothers had that scene until I finally saw a video.
Until I downloaded it on my iPod and watched it on my way to like National Youth Gathering. I was like, lol.
Also, I didn't remember the one scene from Ricky Bobby till like saw that on video.
What one?
When they're signing the boobs.
Oh, okay. That was why I wasn't allowed to watch it. That makes sense. That we're old school. Oh my god. All Will Ferrell. I missed out on so much Will Ferrell.
Yeah, and it's always I mean, like you don't like things that objectify women, and Will Ferrell has so many jokes about that. So
I mean, like I objectify women in the same way that I objectify myself. I'm just expecting you to be more nuanced about it.
He's not nuanced.
I know, it's just frustrating. It's just like grow the fuck up after a certain point. It's just like my uncle. It's like the 80s goes for so long.
He's like the most classy version of your uncle telling jokes, which is why, the versions I tell are less bad than the versions your uncle tells or your dad tells.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it.
There's only so many times that Whale's vagina hits, and
I mean, yeah, and like, go fuck yourself, San Diego. Dude. To throw shade at another city.
Okay, and then love to another one, some brotherly fucking love. There is a giant heart model in Philadelphia's Natural History Museum. I don't know fucking which one. I've never seen it because it's still under construction and supposed to be until November. So I am so hopeful that I get to go back out there for cases when it's ready. That's the 2 cents on a whale's vagina to a whale heart. Fuck. Are you gonna look into it?
It's a whale heart in Philly? No.
Yeah. It's a whale heart in Philly. I mean, it's like a life-size version of, and it's something like 18 feet. So you can like walk into the different chambers. I was like, that's so cool. Hey, if you're still doing some work, can I contract? I would love to do some heart work for you. I'm actually like a heart doctor-ish. I play video games with doctors. Let's be real. I'm only an engineer. But if you want some fuck, I'll contract. I've got design work behind me. I've got engineering in my title. Biomedical in my blood. Look, are we finally getting into this bitch?
Yeah.
All right, cool. The unsinkable Margaret Brown. What did I write down for her? Because I found this baddie on My Favorite Murder. Not to say that I remember all of the places and writing down where I wrote them, or found them. But I will say that MFM, this fucking baddie, so cool. Go check them out. Episode, she survived the Titanic. I don't know the episode. Shit. But at 1 hour and 11 minutes in, as some angel fucking numbers would be, she basically comes out to, and you can put this in there because this is the tone of the conversation that I'd like it to be. When you're ready for me, Connor?
Uh-huh.
Cool. As legendary as Paul Bunyan and as real as Pikes Peak. The unsinkable Margaret Molly Brown from Hannibal, Missouri, our wild child advocate, baddie, first animal shelter activist and preservation project, trying to make the world a better place for her and her family and her community. Also fucking survived the Titanic. I don't think I could be... See, that is some fucking I don't know if you
didn't see any of that.
You didn't. Connor's screen just blacked out, but I appreciate the confirmation. Thank you very much, universe and spirits. I was like, yeah, we should have set that up a minute ago, but that's all good.
No, I don't like people watching me type, so I hold out on that.
I don't like when people watch me work either. And shortened. Okay, I don't know when's topical enough to bring in the deaths that we're seeing on the Titanic, and it's so crazy because, I mean, the unsinkable Titanic, is that not what it was called? The unsinkable? Like the Titanic started out as the
Unsinkable. I think that's
right?
where,
which is probably where she adopted the name because she actually is truly unsinkable, or appeared to be, but she was something like what? They didn't have enough votes, but technically they definitely had a lot more capacity. I was reading in on this. This is crazy. The amount of who all died in that, like crazy, like.
Well, we can save that for afterwards. Okay. But basically 3 billionaires who were against the establishment of the Federal Reserve happened to drown in the sinking of the Titanic.
Women and children only, I guess.
Right, women and children first, right?
The only time women and children have ever been considered outside of womb? That's kind of crazy.
I'm not going to comment. Anyways, that being said, we'll leave that there. That's the conspiracy. And then now, there are billionaires who are resisting basically giving government entities backdoor keys to what other people think are private encrypted communication protocols. And, some of them are going to jail, and some of them are dying mysteriously when their boats sink in the middle of the ocean.
Currently, some 8 billionaires have just been swallowed up by the ocean, and I just wonder if Mother Nature is just, acting in her own.
That's not Mother Nature. If we can make storms happen in Dubai, we can make storms happen in the ocean.
True.
Don't fucking tell me bullshit. They are sinking ships.
But who are the
billionaires out there?
Who are the billionaires they're killing? Are they?
I don't want to.
It's not fucking Bill Gates. You're right. It's not the evil ones. You're right. Fuck.
It's not the famous ones who pretend to do good publicly, and then
I don't know what pretending like. Yeah, I guess it's just false life.
That's it's PR.
It's
PR. Anyways,
my dear Margaret Brown.
I have a narrator, Margaret Brown style dialogue.
Okay.
Yeah, same as last week to tell the story. We can go more into these conspiracies afterwards because Margaret Brown, as we'll come to learn, is a very privileged woman. And she comes from the sphere of influence of people that we're talking about, So that's why this conversation can keep going.
Be mindful.
Well, be mindful, be demure.
I was like, I am too feral. Yeah, I will be more mindful. Demure is the puke. I fucking cannot compute.
Oh.
I don't know where the fuck half of that came from.
There we go.
That'll do.
Demure. It's French. Just like the authorities that are imprisoning the founder of Telegram, the encrypted message company.
That's a fun little rabbit hole you should definitely look into.
Right? Okay, cool. Let's go back to our story. Gather around, young readers, and let me tell you a tale. A tale of a woman as legendary as the Rocky Mountains themselves. This story of Margaret Brown, though you might know her better by another name, the unsinkable Molly Brown. Mind you, this isn't some far-fetched fable. This is as real as the peaks of Pikes Peak. Margaret Brown was no ordinary woman. Born in 1867 in Missouri, she was a force of nature long before she ever set foot on the Titanic.
I fucking love a windful woman, the one that just opens into a room and just you just feel the energy shift because she has her own.
Because she's in a rush.
Maybe sometimes the frantic woman is a little off-putting, I will say, but I like someone that holds and captivates their own.
It's a tough balance to strike, that's for sure.
It is. We're all a bit nutty in this world. Continue.
She married a man named James Joseph Brown. JJ.
When?
Well, it doesn't say.
I know, because this might have been the divorce. Anyway, keep going.
JJ to her name's Margaret Brown, so JJ to his friends, a self-made millionaire from the mines of Colorado. With her newfound wealth, Margaret traveled the world, but her heart remained rooted in the welfare of others. She was a philanthropist, a suffragist and a fighter. A suffragist means that she was like for women's rights back in the like 1860s when they were trying to like get women's right to vote and see them as equal and stuff back then.
Are you mansplaining me that or okay?
I don't think everyone knows what a suffragist is, so that's why I was sharing it.
I'd be very interested.
Sorry to like break that down at you. I was like, you know,
I was just like you were looking at me, so I was just curious. I appreciate you giving context to this because I think it's very interesting that we've seen. Wow, we have cycles of suffragette movements. It's almost like we've been like.
Well, yeah, they call us either third or fourth wave feminism today.
I was just thinking of the 60s or like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and also
that's
the
third
20s
wave
when we got
I
can't to vote, and I'm like,
right. I believe that's the second wave. I really don't know. I think this is the first wave.
I bet. Yeah, she's like the initial. She's the OG. Of course, she fucking is. It's the fatty.
Is that Sojourner Weaver also?
I don't know. I think that's 1929 though. But I was like, I thought she was more handed in the amendment.
I have no idea.
Anyway, yeah.
Doesn't really matter. Better history later.
But we're getting really off topic, so write in
for
it.
She's a suffragist and a fighter.
Sigourney Weaver. I should probably do something for her. Alrighty. Margaret Brown. I will be her today. Don't fucking at me on these. Ah, yes. Those were the days. The world was at our feet, and I never forgot where I came from. That's why when I heard my grandson was ill, I knew I had to get back to America, and fast. That's how I found myself on the grand ship, the Titanic.
It was April 14th. What are you laughing?
Are you loving my acting skills over here?
Yeah, they're fantastic. You bring the character to life. That's the whole point. It's an imaginary thing.
Which is a little scary for me. I'm not gonna lie.
No one expects you to be good in a live read. Like, one of our clients literally does live reads professionally for like, this is his job. Like, and they make content this way. Anyways, like, legit as fuck, right? You know, we're doing okay. We're fine. No one's expecting that much from us. It was April 14th, 1912, when the Titanic, the so-called unsinkable ship, struck an iceberg in the cold, dark waters of the North Atlantic. Margaret was in her cabin, lost in the pages of a book, when she felt a strange jolt. Okay, and I just want to know, one... Just do the acting.
Yes. Kathy Bates, my favorite. It plays her in the Titanic movie, which we love. We love. I don't
love
remember
Kathy
that.
Bates.
Yeah, we love Kathy Bates. Also, the Titanic is
didn't know she was in the movie, to be honest. Till you told me now.
Oh, literally, this is who she.
I've only seen it like once. Didn't know like the characters were really real in the movie or anything.
Images when you search Margaret Brown or the Unsinkable.
I mean, that makes sense. I just I'm not that like close to the movie.
Okay, I can't wait to talk about the ships being swapped out. Margaret Brown reflecting, at first I didn't pay much mind to it. It was only when I stepped out into the hallway and saw fear in the eyes of the crew that I knew something was wrong. Terribly wrong. Why is the crew? No fucking way. That's not real writing. I just rewrite. That's awful. I should have written my own.
It's totally fine, but you know, like just like read it as it is. Don't judge it. Just commit, and it's fine. But also, you know, you're like pulling a Will Ferrell and Anchorman here and reading your name reflecting. You know, those are the what's that called? Those are the stage directions and stuff, right? You don't read that out loud. That's for the teleprompter
I didn't get casted.
people.
I basically got cast to sing when I did the one like play thing growing up.
I don't read narrator every time I come up. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'd say you should start just so I
just follow the pattern. Just follow the pattern. It's like social interactions. You just learn the pattern, you follow the pattern.
Anytime.
And I'm calling it out now to help you out. Okay, cool. We got it. Moving forward. As chaos erupted on the ship, Margaret didn't rush to save herself. No, she went from cabin to cabin, urging others to put on their life belts and get to the lifeboats. She stayed behind to help those in need until a crew member practically forced her into lifeboat number 6. Even in the lifeboat, Margaret couldn't sit idly by. She grabbed an oar and took charge, urging the women around her to row. The boat's quartermaster, a man named Hickens, was reluctant to go back for survivors.
I told him, we've got to go back. There are people out there dying in the water. And when he refused, I looked him square in the eye and I said, if you won't row, then you'll swim. I fucking love that. If that is real, God bless. I think I kind of remember reading that a little bit in her Wikipedia. Oh, this.
Margaret's fierce determination kept the spirits of the other alive through the long, cold night. By dawn, Carpathia had arrived, a beacon of hope in the icy sea. That was the boat. But even as she was pulled aboard, sore and frozen, Margaret wasn't finished. On board the Carpathia, she became the lifeline for the other survivors. She spoke to them in their native tongues, soothed their fears, and organized a collection to those who had lost everything. By the time they reached New York, she had raised $10,000, a small fortune in those days.
Okay, now I need the in today's money, $10,000, and then I'll read my thing.
10,000.
I'd love to know how like real this is now. Maybe like the 2020 standards, because I don't buy the 2024 inflation rate.
Well, we can.
But we can like.
Well, just since 1912, it's worth 324,000 today. So that's 324x.
That's fucking nuts.
So she raised $300,000 for
literally
some of
before she docked in New York, or when she docked into New York.
Right, which that's a lot of money to raise without social media too.
Fuck yeah, that's a force if I've ever heard one. God bless this bitch.
Yeah, I mean, it's not $1 million.
Fuck.
I just love this.
They started calling me the unsinkable Molly Brown after that. And can you imagine? I never sank, but it was just luck. It was pure, stubborn determination.
It's Banana Michael. What could it cost? Like $20?
No, literally. I mow my own lawn.
I'm proud of that. There's still people who don't mow their own lawns, even though they should.
It just tells you where you're at in life, I guess, kind of. But it's also like
we have a lawn to mow in the first place.
It's an interesting flex.
I would love to pay for a lawn
My dad,
service.
I don't think would ever be like, I mow my own lawn. He'd be like, so funny. It is not the same. It was just such an interesting topic.
I don't know many people my age where I'm from who would do it. Like, they would if they had to.
Mid-East versus Midwest. Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think that's like a Mid-East thing. I think that's really insular to my fucking hometown. But I'll leave it there. It's probably like, fucking... Well, actually, it sounds like her and her husband were kind of more self-made more than anything.
Right.
She's got a heart of gold.
She continues to put back into it, which is dope as shit.
Yeah.
All right, my narrator.
No.
Yeah, stubborn determination.
Oh, okay. My bad. Margaret Brown didn't just survive the Titanic, she conquered it. And when she stepped onto the shores of New York, she didn't rest. She used her newfound fame to fight for miners' rights, women's suffrage, and a better world for all. Margaret Brown was a woman who refused to sink in spirit or in deed. So remember, when the world throws icebergs in your path, think of Margaret Brown, the woman who rode through the night and turned tragedy into triumph.
Lovely. I should know the miners is MINER, which would be like coal miners, as in her first husband, where they found a lot of fortune, which is great to see her giving back to those families, because those
sounds like guilt is eating away at her.
I'd be very curious. I mean, no, actually what happened was, I remember reading, she went back to Colorado and there was like a horrible incident where a lot of families
lost. Mining collapse.
Yeah, and so she basically
tragedy.
Put her fortunes to work and her fortitude and her determination, and basically raised funds and gifted her funds as well, because the Titanic, aka what was the other ship that actually has inconsistent windows on it that is seen at the bottom of the Atlantic, and not the actual Titanic, but the one that was subbed in last minute?
The Olympia?
Yeah, there we go. What are we looking into?
What was her relationship to her husband in the mining industry post-Titanic, to continue the story?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm more interested in getting into the details of the behind the scenes opposite. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I need the conspiracies because this shit I cannot wait for. It is too juicy to be like, we're really here something like 100+ years later, and we're still seeing these crazy, wild circumstances with a bunch of very important people dying. The cancer doctors on their way to a conference from Brazil recently. There's some amount of concern I would have towards just like, how the fuck do you end up dead or not? I'm like, why is there no like ticket on Bill Gates's head? I'm really just waiting for him to be picked off because I'm so sick of him picking up whatever he wants. And then like the fire in his eyes and like soulless being just waiting to make more money off of people by like telling them just straight fucking lies. How are we doing here? I'm really getting down a rabbit hole. The Olympia. Olivia. Shout out to one of my favorite sisters, Olivia. You work way too hard, and the hospital does not deserve you. And holy shit, I can't imagine what you're doing for literally working with kids. So crazy. Like a night nurse working with kids, I can't think of a harder position to be in like healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That seems really fucking hard for a lot of reasons.
So many firework like accidents that you like just don't think of, like car accidents you don't think of, like some crazy ass. Oh, she had a recommendation for a podcast. Oh, this is some good shit. Oh my god, you want to listen to a wild ass story? You listen to this podcast. Fuck. Something was wrong. Something was wrong is some fucking wild ass relationship. I was like, I don't know how you can't see this coming from a mile away sometimes, but like, if you were listening or looking for a juicy story, that is exactly what I would get into. Oh shit. Epilogue. Oh my god, this is so silly. Okay, can we please? The narration ties together. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Ooh.
Cool. We're gonna tell.
We have names.
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right. We're rewriting the Titanic, I guess, at this point. We are not Rose and Jack. We are. Who are we?
We're Robert and Evelyn.
Oh, fuck.
It's okay. I don't want to read the whole story, but I'll tell you the prompt I gave it. I said, can you please overview the conspiracies around the creation of the Federal Reserve, the switching of the Olympia and the Titanic, and other rising geopolitical tensions pre-World War I? I am looking for a coherent narrative based on the disputed facts, clear facts, and that would make for a compelling and entertaining story, but plausible. And so what it's come up with was originally called The Prelude to a World on Fire, with chapter 1 being called The Hidden Hand.
Oh, man.
And now it is called The Hidden Hand and the Titanic Switch. So,
very curious to know what ChatGPT is cooked up for us.
Right, the setting. We will read the stage setting.
All right. Okay, I'm glad we've got context to know when we can break the rules.
When it comes to our dialogue, we won't do this, but for the scene setting, we'll do it.
Sure.
Okay. A dimly lit study. 2 characters, Robert, a skeptical historian, and Evelyn, a passionate conspiracy theorist, are seated next to each other, sipping whiskey by a roasting fire. This is not fire water, it's regular water. So, you really believe the Federal Reserve was part of some grand conspiracy?
Not just any conspiracy. One that ties together the Federal Reserve, the Titanic disaster, and even led up to World War I. It's all connected, Robert.
All right, humor me. How do you link a central bank with a shipwreck in a global war?
Let's start with the Federal Reserve. Picture this: 1910, a secret meeting on Jekyll Island, Georgia. Fuck. That's real? Okay.
Yeah, that's that book I have on my desk.
The most powerful bankers in America, J.P. Morgan, Paul Warburg, and others. Ooh, who are those others? Hatched a plan to create a central bank that would give them control over the U.S. economy. They knew that controlling the money supply meant controlling country's future.
I've heard of that meeting, but it wasn't secret. They were trying to solve real economic problems, like the banking panics.
Well, that's the official story. But think about it. The Federal Reserve gave these bankers immense power. And they didn't want to mess up or manage the economy. They wanted to shape it into their own advantage. And by manipulating the interest rates and the money supply, they could trigger booms and busts, all while profiting from the chaos.
Okay, but how does the Titanic thing fit into this?
Great memory. The Titanic, or should I say the Olympic, the White Star Line, owned by none other than J.P. Morgan, was financially in trouble. The Olympic had been damaged in a collision and it was a liability. They came up with a very bold plan to switch the ships. The Titanic was brand new, unsinkable marvel, would take the place of the Olympic, and the damaged Olympic would be disguised as the Titanic.
You're saying the Titanic that sank was actually the Olympic?
Yup, exactly. The plan was to sink the ship deliberately, collect the insurance money, and retire the damaged vessel. But there's more. On board the Olympic, or the Titanic, LOL, were three of the most powerful men opposing the creation of the Federal Reserve. John Jacob Astor IV, Benjamin Guggenheim.
Yep, he's got a whole museum named after him.
Would love to go into that further. And Isidore, that's a cool name.
Strauss.
Isidore Strauss. Their deaths cleared the way for the Federal Reserve Act, which was signed into law in 1913.
Literally right after.
Wow, that's so convenient.
So they sacrificed all those lives to push through the Federal Reserve?
Well, yeah, it fucking sounds like that, doesn't it? That's the darker side of power, Robert. But it wasn't just about the money. Eliminating these components or opponents, the bankers ensured that no one could stand in the way of their plans.
If this switch really happened, wouldn't someone have noticed? The crew, the passengers?
I mean, some did. There were rumors, whispers among the crew, but they were paid off for silence. And who would have believed that story? It's easier to just assume that the Titanic just shrunk an iceberg. And also think about the ships. There were so few ships on there for the level of passengers on there, which, like, why would you ever do that in the first place? Two, if you look into the stories on, like, the accounts for the women that survived, because it's only women and children, the only time we ever give a shit about women.
Maddie, there was a lot of capacity. This story is 100% fictitious.
No, I know. I know. I'm just like, no, but this all makes sense though, because like they also had more room in the ships. Like, look at Rose laid on that fucking door with all the room in the world. Sorry, Jack.
You can lead an LLM to water and get great results. That's all I'm going to say.
Totally. What I will say is that media probably was a great way of telling us without telling us that they were just like, fuck you. They had room. They just chose not to help a lot of people.
Imagine if they had social media at the time. People closer to it might have been like, hey, I heard an explosion in the hull. That wasn't an iceberg. I think someone blew a hole in the hull like someone did in Ukraine. Again, this is all just story.
I want to go back to Isidore's name because I like that.
Isidore Strauss. Okay. You can look these up afterwards.
I know. I had to write it down.
So, all right. Let's say for a moment I buy this. How would you connect it to World War I?
The war was the ultimate test of their power. With the Federal Reserve in place, these bankers could finance both sides of the conflict, ensuring that it would be long and profitable. The war reshaped Europe, toppled empires, and left nations in debt to the very bankers who funded the destruction. Wow.
Were the seeds for round 2 sown?
Any of this repeating in history?
So you're saying the war was engineered to create a new world order, one controlled by the financial elite?
Oh, fuck. Precisely. It's almost like we're living through it today. The war wasn't just about territory or politics. Go fucking see our show on Rachel Corrie. It was about control. By the time it ended, the world was in ruins, and those who controlled the money had cemented their time and power. The Federal Reserve emerged stronger, influencing global markets and dictating the terms of peace.
To this day, although it's starting to crumble. Anyways, it's a compelling story, Evelyn, but isn't it all a bit convenient?
Well, when you own fucking all of the shit that goes down, it kind of just sounds like a way of doing it. But here, I'll be Evelyn. Perhaps, but sometimes the most convenient explanations are the ones we're afraid to accept. After all, history is written by the victors. Fuck if that ain't the truth. And the ones who bankrolled them all. Ooh! Shit.
To history, then.
To the hidden hands behind the curtain.
And the stories that make us question it.
Fuck! I think we have a new dialogue of this. This has been fun.
Yeah, so I mean, clearly none of that was true. That was all.
Right. This is all our rewriting. Okay.
Yeah, we asked ChatGPT for a creative story. We had it do its best research, and did we lead it a little bit? Absolutely. We knew what
we
facts.
Wanted the information to be representative of what we knew to be true.
Yeah, we wanted them to string the facts together so we could tell you what the facts were, because the facts are there. Nothing that was said was not a fact. It was just the story that was told to string the facts together is a little too persuasive for most people. So
some people just need to be spoon-fed, and others can only understand to the level that which they choose to reflect.
Cool. And so with that, we'll pull out Unsinkable Margaret Molly Brown.
And one of the baddies that be.
Watch for her on Playhaus TV, as well as on MadisonJessica.com later this week, as we release all the Bad Bitches of History as NFTs on Magic Eden. And shout out to OpenSea for their Wells notice. Hopefully you guys fight the good fight against the SEC, because the Fed, as we know, is not so good. Or at least allegedly.
The Fed just wants to keep their peace. And, it's very clear what they have a stranglehold over currently, and what they're trying to avoid from happening. Shout out to Scraps KC for the God Bless the 3D pieces and elements.
Hey, Tobias. Thank you for joining us.
It's so nice to see you. Holy shit. Welcome to the crew. Holy fuck, we got people.
We're signing off for this week, but be sure to like, subscribe, and follow for next week. And we really appreciate you supporting our content. It's been another week of the Weekly Mojo with Madison Jessica.
Stay tuned for more Bad Bitches of History.
All right. Bye. Nice to meet you, Tobias. See you next week.
Try to beat the heat.